Pregame.com.
We could have the biggest motivational spot edge of any bowl game this season. This is Brad Powers, Pregame.com studios, just off the Vegas Strip. We're talking the Independence Bowl. We got Southern Miss taking on Florida State.
And Florida State, the Seminoles had not covered all year long. Last two games, 2 wins, 2 covers. They going to cover the bowl game?
They're not. That streak ends with this one. We're taking Southern Miss plus the points here, and it's all about the humongous motivational edge in this game for Southern Miss. Let's talk about Florida State, their opponent. I think the Seminoles could care less about this one. Let's take it back to the preseason. This was a preseason top 5 team with college football playoff aspirations. They lose the opener against Alabama, and more importantly, they lose their starting quarterback, and it was a free fall from that point forward. Now, flash forward after a 6-6 season, their head coach, he's not motivated. In fact, he's off the College Station in Texas A&M, so this is a Florida State team with an interim coach. And how about their best player, Derwin James? Is he motivated to play his final game? Heck no. He's off to prepare for the NFL draft than Derwin James, so I don't think anyone's really super motivated to play in this game. And that's why we're going to take their opponent, Southern Miss, the huge underdog, plus the points.
But I'm thinking their opponent is going to be super motivated. You look at Florida State, they may be 6-6, but they're still a brand name. Southern Miss would love to be able to knock them off in this game.
A dream opponent for Southern Miss. Maybe not as far as winning a game outright, but at least as far as getting motivated and hyped up for a bowl game. This was a Southern Miss team, didn't win their conference, but I got to think, man, Florida State, an opportunity, especially against a down Florida State team. The fan base is excited, the coaching staff, the players. This is their Super Bowl, in my opinion.
I like to draw analogies between bowl games and motivation. I see one here. We all just saw the Boise game against Oregon. Oregon loses their coach. Same thing just happened here to Florida State. Oh, key player decides not to play. Same thing is happening with Florida State. And they're playing a team from a lesser conference that was ultra motivated. All the check marks are lining up here. I have to ask you, why isn't the money coming in on the obvious value with the underdog?
You know what? I don't have a 100% for sure answer for you. In my opinion, it's because if you're tracking Florida State games all year, despite the fact they had such a horrible cover streak to start off this season, the Sharps were continually betting Florida State. I go to that Friday night game against Boston College. The opener's 3. They get bet all the way up to 6. That money couldn't have been more wrong of any game this season. They get absolutely annihilated by Boston College 35-3. And I think you made a great point. I think the pros and the markets are betting Florida State on their talent, not necessarily this year's team's results.
Let's talk about the teams, how good the teams are. Where do your power ratings, how far apart do you have these two teams?
Yeah, forget about the talent, forget about as far as the motivation. Pure power rating for this game says Florida State should be laying 14. So I think there's incredible value when you add in the motivational factors.
Your second key handicap?
Well, I mean, I'm taking a large underdog here. I got to know, can they compete against a Power 5 team? Well, this year they have against SEC Tennessee, SEC Kentucky. In fact, they more than competed. They outplayed Tennessee and Kentucky, outgained them by nearly 100 yards per game, misleading finals. And, you know, if they were getting 16.5 in those 2 games, they would have easily covered both of them.
So all fall, I watched college football every Saturday, but I did not watch Southern Miss. Do they have the skill position players to be able to put enough points up on the board to cover this against what is a very good Florida State defense?
I think they do. They got the right quarterback who came on midway point through the season. His name's Griggs. 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, so he takes care of the football. One of their all-time leading rushers, running back Smith, had over 1,300 yards this year. They got a 1,000-yard receiver. And on the defense side of the ball, they make some plays. They force some havoc. Top 10 in the nation as far as tackles for loss.
I really like this play. Frankly, I would have bet at plus 15. Now I'm holding out for plus 17, but let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. We're taking Southern Miss plus a 16.5. The biggest, in my opinion, motivational edge for any team this year's bowl season. It's on Southern Miss because their opponent, Florida State, could care less. They got an interim coach. Their best player's not playing in this game. Meanwhile, this is Southern Miss's Super Bowl. And speaking of Southern Miss, how do they compete against Power 5 competition? Quite well this year. They outgained Tennessee and Kentucky by nearly 100 yards per game. Both of those finals misleading, creating some value. And again, Southern Miss plus 16.5. Your pick here, and we'll have more videos at pregame.com.